This is more or less how the unit started. You can see a little visible thinking routine. Think, puzzle, explore. After our provocation, that made them reflect, that made them, think. Oops. Oopsie. Sorry, I always do that. Okay, here. I'm just not going to stop the video. You can see that we reflect on the whiteboard together as a class because they are still young. They are 6 years old, so they need that common reflection. Then I start, sorry, it's a very Spanish, but that's me. And now sorry. Okay, there I go. I will try to be better at this one. Okay, this is what I wanted to provide. As I said, structure is very important. So we start by talking about materials they need, about how they are going to build those houses, about the vocabulary they need because they are, English as a second language speakers. And I didn't mention it, but it's very important if you're a PYP teacher that you have a learning board or a learning wall where you can put all the students learning and where students can go to for reference. That's the learning wall, where they keep all the things they have been learning and the structure of the project and the groups and the rules of the group work. And that's where they start working, designing. Then I'm just going to skip the video because I think that if not, it's going to be very long and it's just a video of my learning wall. So that was the first unit, okay? You could see more or less that it was very structured. As I said, structure gives you confidence as a teacher, at the beginning especially, and it gives children the structure they need when they are starting working like that. Now, this unit, Grease Lightning, how the world works. We are talking big things. We are talking about systems. We are talking about how systems organize the world, the system of time, the system of calendar, the system of the season, the system of night and day, the system of a school, how a school is a system. So this unit is focused on students being able to identify systems around them and to be able to either modify a system they know and make it better, or create a brand new system, invent, become inventors. It's the same structure as the other unit, okay? Because it works very well for me, and also because at this unit, which is happening right now in my school, it's our 5th unit, it's also a win-win, and this has always been a win-win. This year we are a little bit, unconnected, but it's always been a good one. Provocations. In this case, the main provocation can be bringing artifacts from the past, can be going around the school, asking different teachers why maths is a system, why language is a system, for example, the alphabet, why a school is a system, who is the boss in the school, who is important in the school. Then we make an inquiry, we make an investigation, inquiry around the school, inquiry about systems, inquiry about calendars. Then grouping and regrouping of students, as I said, which is very important. As I said, so students don't repeat the same role. The one that draws very well doesn't have always to be the designer. The one that writes very well doesn't always have to be the writer. It's very useful to assign them roles. And it's very useful also to make them aware of the role. For example, you are the messenger. You are the one that's going to come and tell Miss Penny, because that's how they call me, that we need this, this, and this. Then choice of final product. Why choice of final product? Because they have to choose if they want to modify a system that already exists or if they want to invent a system. Link contents that should be assessed. Very important not to forget the formative assessment for our grades, for our grading. Also group assessment and self-assessment, so students feel capable and independent. And then the final product will be presented orally as well in a group. Yeah, you have some bits and pieces. Conclusions of my students, sit in wonder, the definition they wrote of systems, little assessment rubrics, a provocation I did, the investigation they did around school, asking the maths teacher why maths was a language, asking the librarian why a library was a system, making a self-rubric, seeing where they were in their learning. I kept that rubric for assessment. Then we went to the town hall to ask why the town hall was a system. Then we went to a weather station to ask why weather was a system. And then we started our project. Also very structured. Remember, first of primary, we needed the structure, we needed the control. And as you can see, all materials are made by me. Very important to keep the steps clear in a product design, to control what they are learning, to supervise the group interactions, to assess the group interactions, always be observing, always tell them the plan. Now they can read, so you can write it. Here they started designing. These were designing a projector for the class. These ones, I don't remember what they were designing. I think it was a house. Ah, yeah, it was a house powered by solar energy. Group work assessment. And the script for the presentation. This is the same more or less, but in a different video. That's another script for another presentation. They were rehearsing the presentation. They took it really seriously. That's the learning wall with all our knowledge. That's me helping them. We put all their work up, so they had all the structure clear. If they needed to look at it, they could pin and unpin the work. And that's the presentation, but I'm just going to skip it. This is the last unit I'm going to present, and then we can continue with the questions, okay? Don't worry. This is the unit that finishes my school year, and it's, for me, the most powerful unit. It's how we express ourselves, but it's how we express ourselves through stories, fairy tales, theater, poems, and it's called The Greatest Show. And we designed a final product, which is a theater play. And we represent it to parents. Here, the provocation basically is giving them fairy tales around the class. They can look at them. And then we give them mixed up fairy tales. So they see what happens when they mix fairy tales and see if it makes sense, if it doesn't make sense. Then in this unit, it's very important, the second step, which is combine vocabulary and related knowledge. We need vocabulary to write a story. We need to know the structure of a story. And we need knowledge about the difference between a story, a real story, a fairy tale, a poem, a theater play. Then the groups are student-led. I don't make the groups. They make the groups by themselves for the first time. So it's almost a free inquiry. I'm just there, you know, supervising, looking, so there is no chaos, so there are no fights, so everybody's happy, but they sort out themselves because it's unit number 6, and they've been doing that since September. We started the academic year in Spain in September. The assessment is ongoing. This unit doesn't have science content. It's focused on English, Spanish, arts and crafts, music. Doesn't have science at all. Assessment is ongoing and done with observation. And then review and change by themselves what they want as final product. So it's a student ownership. The theater play, the prompts, the stage is designed by them in a consensus. They vote, but it's designed by them. And then the final product is a theater play. This will be the provocation, a KWL as a visible thing, know, want to know and learn, and then lots of fairy tales around the class so they can look at them. And they can see how fairy tales are made. This is the KWL. It's a pre-assessment. We start our journey. We had another provocation, which was an author from my local area that came to do some storytelling and to explain to them how was the process of writing a book, of actually writing a book. Then here we are trying to compile some vocabulary. Then the mixed up fairy tales, more reading, more vocabulary. They had a little spot in the class where they could write their own fairy tales and prepare themselves for the theater play. So here you can say they wrote The Gingerbread Man and Pinocchio. So this one was on the right track. Very simple stories, but by themselves independently. Then a mind map with all the vocabulary they needed. Beginning, middle, and end of the story. Scrap writing. Then serious writing. Connecting a storytelling or a story with learner profile attributes, with key concepts, and making them reflect. Hexagonal thinking to connect all the elements of a fairy tale. That's done in groups because they are already in the groups for the theater play. And they are choosing what they want. And this is a final picture of the theater play. This is a story I love, Pedro and the Rainbow. This boy couldn't write at the beginning of the year, so I was very proud of him. And this is the stage we designed in a consensus. They did all, I just stuck it on the wall. Obviously, they couldn't stack it. But in arts and crafts, we prepare everything, and we also prepare some masks, some prompts. And they decided to put the chairs like that, so the other class would be their audience. They invited them over. And that's just them doing the hexagonal thinking. With the vocabulary they have, they choose what they want in their story. And they put it in the poster. And we arrive to challenges and adaptations. My challenges and adaptations, okay? My biggest challenge was to understand that cooperative learning is more than just working in a group. It's high-level interaction, it's trained, it cannot be acquired from one day to another. You have to be consistent, you have to repeat, you have to train them. But when it happens, it empowers the students. Then obviously you have to adapt. You have to adapt everything for your different students' needs, for the mood they are in, for the level they have, for the question they have. So you have to be flexible. As we were saying before, the final product is there, but how you arrive to it is not written on a stone. You can change it. Then, number one, I think, students must feel comfortable with each other and with themselves. The class has to be a team, a family. You have to take into account children with special needs, of course, and above all, patience, be consistent and constant. And then, magic will happen. The teacher, we said, is a model, a guide, and a facilitator, gives feedback and feed forward, and intervenes if necessary. So it can give the structure if they need it. The teacher is part of the class, observes, reviews, and changes. The teacher is open-minded. You have to be flexible, we said. You have to trust in your students' abilities. Your goal is free inquiry, as I said in this last unit, but we start with a structure, and everything can be assessed, even the teeny tiniest drawing they make. And I don't have conclusion. There's always something to change. There's always a question, and there's always something to improve. These units I have presented are just my units. So let's talk.
Thank you, Penelope. It's really an amazing webinar, you know, and I can see the high interaction of the participants. Thank you so much. We do have lots of comments and questions in the chat. So I'll start by Doug. He said you mentioned, no, he loved the learning experience. Okay, and Deepika also, she said the same. Rama, she's asking, are you following any inquiry model?
I'm following any inquiry model. I think it will refer to the inquiry cycle. We started using the inquiry cycle by Kath Murdoch, which has 6 phases, but I'm a rebel, so I didn't like it, and I made it shorter. We talked to Kath, okay? It wasn't like being a rebel. I did ask for advice, and I comprised it into 4 phases for my little ones and for early years. So they know we have 4 stages, but we don't have a circle anymore. We have 4 stages, and we follow like a road. And we follow that model. I mean, the model we use is the tuning in, moving forward, blah, 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 blah. But we don't have 6 phases, we have 4. And our learning goes around the 4 phases of the cycle, and then it can go around again and again and again, or maybe only one time if the unit is too difficult. I like this. Someone said they never thought they could suggest the words. I teach PYP2 in Egypt, but my students usually surprise me, even in their mother tongue. Yeah, I mean, there's no problem in giving them the vocabulary they need beforehand. If you do it as a brainstorming or as a class group activity. With me, they can use Spanish, but I never speak Spanish to them. I always speak in English. So they tell me in Spanish, and probably I will end up writing it on the whiteboard in English. Okay. So they get the vocabulary, and we always copy it in a poster. We make a big thing out of it, and we put it in our panel, and it's super fun, and they love it. And then they can go there for reference because it's not their mother tongue. So they do need that vocabulary. We need to give the backup they need. If not, they will not move forward.
Okay, you can.
Yeah, I can see the question. Yeah, I can see the question.
Yeah. Okay,
I hope I don't get lost.
Yvonne. So it's Yvonne.
Yes. How do you incorporate support for learners who are struggling with writing and reading for whatever reason? Oh yeah, I do have some of them. We have support with library sessions in which we do reading buddies. And as I said, grammar and phonics for me are standalone. We use the Floppy Phonics Oxford Reading Tree Phonics program. So we give them the support they need with that. The ones that are stronger do reading buddies with the weaker ones. We promote collaboration, cooperation, and values. And, you know, all children read at some point and write. It's just being patient. If they write phonetically at the beginning, for me, it's no problem. At the end of the year, of first of primary, they always write. And in primary, in PYP2, you can do the same. Just do reading buddy support and dedicate maybe 1 session. I do 1 session per day to phonics.
Okay,
and that makes a difference.
Okay, thanks, Penelope.
You're welcome. But again, it's my way of doing it, okay? It's not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the next one if I can find it. Okay. Which subject areas do you find easiest or most challenging to integrate into a transdisciplinary plan? That's a good question. You're making good questions there. You're putting me in trouble. I teach 6 to 7 year olds in the English curriculum school. Okay. Multilingual learners like me. Okay. Social studies often serves as my starting point. How do I ensure that these essential areas like literacy are meaningfully integrated in all units? Well, especially with English, I think for me the most difficult will be sometimes maths, okay? But literacy, usually for me, it's kind of okay because in any social or natural studies, they have to write, they have to read, they can present some oral project. So I integrate literacy through that, especially through vocabulary. And then I have my standalone. But for me, maths is like the big elephant in the room that I have to, squeeze my brain to fit in. But my co-tutor, the other teacher I share with is a maths expert, so she's the one helping. Okay. The idea of using songs to name the units. Yeah, it's allowed. I mean, literally, the transdisciplinary themes are transdisciplinary themes. You cannot use them. You cannot use them as titles because children will be confused. They will think the transdisciplinary theme is the title of the unit, and it's different. So you can say this unit is I am who I am, which is my unit in who we are. Okay, I love Gloria Gaynor, so it's a Gloria Gaynor song. And we dance and everything, and it keeps them engaged. But for example, another teacher loves Harry Potter and is using Harry Potter references in all her units. So that gives the children like a different purpose, a different connection. My PYP coordinator is okay about it, and our PYP advisors were the ones suggesting it, in fact. So I guess it's okay. What the statute suggests for teaching research skills in an inquiry-based learning environment? Wow, it's easy. Library. If your librarian is a happy one, and lets you go in the library with your 20-something 6-year-olds to cause havoc and disaster, go to the library. And if not, you can have an inquiry corner in your room with books, with artifacts, with things that children can look through, and they will practice their research skills. In my class, we have inquiry corner time. We have the inquiry corner with materials I bring, books that children bring, things we have connected to the unit, and children have there the research time, and they use their research skills. And they even have some post-it notes where they can write their questions or the reflections. We find integrating English the most challenging in early years, age group 4-5. They are yet to read, and write fluently. What do you recommend for this? Okay, in my school, in the 4-5-year-olds, integrating English in the units of inquiry is done orally. Okay, and then they have the phonics classes for the reading, writing, fluency. They only have 4 units of inquiry, so it's easier, and they are not required to write in those units. Basically, they can communicate in English and express their conclusions or draw what they have understood. That's enough. But we stick to the standalone in English. How do you assess their learning? Do you use competencies standards from scope and sequence or from the local standard? It's a nightmare, Frank, because I have to combine the two of them. I have to assess the scope and sequence, and I have to assess the local standards. And I also have the IB, PYP, reports. So I have three, basically. I have scope and sequence for English and for the Spanish language. Then I have the standards, the Spanish standards for all the other subjects. And then I have the IB, PYP reports.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. I told you
And
it's a nightmare.
do you for each competency, do you use criterias to assess the competency? Like you take one
Yes.
competency and you break it down into little I
Yeah,
can.
we have criteria. Yeah, we have criteria. We have criteria both given by the government and both established by us as teachers. That
Okay.
they have to, to get fluent at, or they have to attain this before moving to second of primary or to year 2. Okay. So some strategies for skills like listening and speaking. And how can we incorporate inquiry-based learning? I think we've been talking about that all the time. Listening is for the cooperative learning and collaboration. And speaking will be covered with the oral presentation at the end, because they will have to prepare their oral presentation. You've seen pictures of my children rehearsing. They were writing a script, they were rehearsing because they knew the oral presentation was going to be assessed. And that's inquiry at its finest, because they are going to present the inquiry they've done orally. Then how would you incorporate local and global interaction in your inquiry units? With collaborations, basically. We always ask parents to come to school when they can share things they know. For example, if we are designing shelters and we know a parent or a family has an architect there or has a builder there, we ask the family to come. In the systems unit, we ask permission to the town hall, and we went to the town hall for a visit. So we incorporated the town hall in the unit. In the how we express ourselves one friend of mine who is a children's author was so kind to come and share with us. But he's also like a local celebrity because he's writing children's books and children love him. So he came. We're always trying to integrate everything. It's just, asking people, and maybe you will get lucky. Do you guide learners to take actions? And what are my expectations? Okay, I've learned to expect the unexpected, because a unit that is super cool this year might be a total disaster next year. It depends on my children. I've been in PYP1 for 4 years so far, and no unit has been the same, because no class is the same. So basically, I don't expect. I plan, I keep my fingers crossed, I hope for the best. And academic integrity. What do you refer to with academic integrity? I might need a clarification. Give me a context. Yadira. How do you promote academic integrity and responsible research practices in PYP students? I mean, if you're thinking about like copying or doing things that are not supposed to be done, they are 6. They will do things that are not supposed to be done, but they are just naughty. Responsible research. I control the research. I have the books. I give them the materials they need. I don't use tablets. I'm sorry. I'm against technological devices for children that small. And even for the bigger ones. I'm sorry. I love books. So if I give them books, I control what's in the books. If they inquiry at their homes, it's their family thing. It's not mine. If they want to know further information, I use my laptop, but I use it with them near me so they can see the information. And that's how I promote it. Basically, leading with the example, I guess. What can we do to take children towards student-led action? You are doing guided inquiry. It's a long process. It's a process that may take lots of time. It will happen one day, it might not happen. Just be patient. And I don't know if I got lost in the question.
Okay,
Uh,
Penelope will go for more maximum 10 minutes. Okay.
okay, perfect.
To
Yes, I
wrap
appreciate
up, yes,
that.
yeah, lots of questions to wrap up everything. I just want to give the chance to all the people to make the most of today's webinar. So we'll go for, actually, we exceeded the time limit, but yes, no problem.
Yes, I know, but
Yeah.
I like it. Don't worry,
So,
I got
well,
carried away.
yeah. So we'll go for another 9 minutes, and Umayma as well. She's raising her hand. Okay, and we'll wrap up everything after that.
Perfect.
Okay.
Hello, Umayma?
Umayma, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah, I was actually about to ask the question which I already asked in the chat. So I got the answer of my question. Thank you.
I'm a bit hyperactive, sorry. Though I've seen your question, and I have the same problem with my non-native speaking families. English is like what matters most for them. So they only want the reading, the writing, and the English, and they don't care much about inquiry. How do I do it? As I said, I'm a rebel, so I don't listen to them. I tend to do what I want to do, and then they see that at the end of the year, the children read, write, and speak in English. Every year it happens the same. You just have to be strong and stand on your, on your foot and do what you want. And just tell them that it's a process, that children, each child is different. Each child has a different development rhythm. And that if they give them time, they will do it. And send lots and lots of things home. Photos, samples. Every time we finish a unit, we send the unit home. Every time we do something, I send photos home. So they have all the info, and that keeps them a little bit more relaxed because they are quite demanding as well.
Okay, so Doug said something. I found that in integrating sustainable development goals, SDG, and education for sustainable development, ESD, are great ways to encourage learner agency at different levels, friends and family, school level in our community globally. So, do you have any comments for that?
Yeah, that's related to what we said, to the question we had before about how can we promote interaction and, local interaction. So through the Sustainable Development Goals, we can do that. For example, if you, as I said, just check what your families work up, check what you have around you. If you have an endangered space that children can go and visit, and that can lead to an inquiry. If there's a family that is, picking up litter at the beach at the weekends, they can come and share. Any little thing counts. So just check what's around you, and it's free or cheap, and you can easily do with your children, which is my case.
Okay. Thank you so much, Penelope. We actually really appreciate the effort you put in this webinar. Thank you so much. And
I have to say, it's my holiday period. That's why I'm connecting in the morning. I don't have a school today. So
okay.
I made that
How lucky we are. Yeah, we're lucky. Yeah, thank you so much for the outstanding webinar. Really enlightening, really amazing. We're happy to have you today with us. And I'd like to tell the attendees thank you so much for your interaction, for your attendance, and Horeya for Penelope. And I shared with you our Facebook page. It has lots of links to our other social platforms and also to our email, just in case you have a topic that you want to share and you want to present it to our fellow teachers. Yeah, why not? Please email us and contact us to discuss this further. And also check our online courses, CELTA courses, or if you want to take it face-to-face, and also our upcoming professional development opportunities. For the certificates, the attendance certificates, it will be sent to you via email, plus the recording of the session. Okay? Thank you so much, and wish to see you all in our future coming webinars. Thank
Thank you,
you.
everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.